Good evening, Michael. Good evening, Mr. Martin. Thank you, Chuck. Hugs to you. What's going on with you guys today? I chose this background for you today. I hope you enjoy it. Good evening, Connor. How do you do? Hello, Mr. Chase. Very nice today. We got some wind here. Can you hear me, or is it too windy? I'm pretty well, Michael. I just woke up from a power nap. Yes, there's some intense energy here. Hello, this is right underneath my room, I think. Hello, Daniel. You knew I was coming, so you baked a cake. That's very nice. I look forward to eating cakes again someday. I don't know, it's very difficult to think of like, why would I want to give this up? So that I can eat cakes with people I enjoy eating cake with. I had a loaf of bread today, and it didn't make me feel good. But that's all right. I had a great morning. I woke up, I did Qigong with my friends. Actually, there was a gorgeous sunrise, and I was about to broadcast it, but then I thought, oh, I've been wanting to test out doing a time lapse with the wide angle lens. So that's what I did. I did a time lapse with a wide angle lens, and I did it in 2 sections, so it's about a minute long. And the second half recorded while I was doing Qigong, and it's totally astounding. Oh, they have lots of cake here in Mexico, but not really during quarantine time, when in a tourist town when everything's shut down. I haven't had cake for over a month. I was swimming yesterday. I was in the water today, actually, but I didn't really like swim, because I didn't really want to get my hair wet, because my hair is perfect. No, because I put oil in my hair, and I noticed that if I swim in the sea with oil in my hair, it feels like a waxy nightmare. So I just played around in the sea today after doing lots of errands and running back and forth, and I was really hot, and I just wanted to cool down. And I had remembered from a couple days ago that being in the water is just so nice and cooling. So I hung out in the water for a few minutes, and then I laid naked on a rock, and the rock was so hot. It was just the radiant heat radiating through my body. It was amazing. And then I got back in the water, and then I did some push-ups, and then I got back in the water, and then I laid on another rock. Very difficult, very difficult. Then I did some research on something I was teaching that I had forgotten part of. So it's always nice to be like, oh, if I'm teaching this, I should remember what I'm doing. Then I went and bought some bread and ate a lot of bread while talking to a friend in New York. Now, I noticed that a lot of you tuning into me here are not in New York. When I was younger, I had a lot of, laying naked on a rock is a very nice thing. When I was younger, I had a lot of anger issues, meaning that I was angrier than made me happy. And maybe because of that, New York was very attractive to me. Now, I have friends who live in New York who are not the angry types. They're totally chill and little puffballs of bright, fuzzy light. Some of my other friends in the Facebook land, I've checked in on them, and they've been angry, And there's a really nice concept. I did a talk probably 2 weeks ago now on the Bramhaviharas, and it's a ancient Indian meditation for conditioning the heart and mind, one might say. And so we'll look at it like this. Imagine that you your nature, your natural setting is happiness and peace and kindness and clarity and wisdom and joy. It's your natural setting. However, between you and your natural setting are things that piss you off and things that disappoint you and things that upset you. So, unfortunately, a lot of us get snarled up in those things that make us afraid and angry and worried. And so there are birds cleaning their feathers. There are ways that we can practice moving those things out of the way and just returning to that state of just feeling good. So I was like, hey, let's play with feeling good today. And instead of conceptually talking about it, I was like, let's have a pretty background and some nice, this is a very loud area, so that's why I asked if you could hear me, because there's waves coming from this direction and waves coming from this direction. And it's this nice echoey chamber. So whatever it is you're doing, you know, if you're busy right now, or if you're sitting in a place that you can be peaceful, I would like you to connect into your heart, into any part of your body that you associate with feeling good, and put a smile into it. So I don't know if any of you were here to watch that inner smile exercise I did last week, but put a smile into it as if you're greeting a friend. So one of the ways I like to start that again is if you think of someone that you really know and you really love, and you know they love you too, and you're seeing each other after not seeing each other for a while, and it's just that, and it's like a surprise meeting, and you have just that happy feeling of like, oh, it's so good to see you. Connect with that and see if you can just bring it up. Emotional conjuring. What does it feel like to be really happy and grateful? And if you have your eyes closed, you can use your imagination, or you can even ask your imagination to help you communicate with yourself, and see if there's any color or light or texture associated with this good feeling. The more you can relate to this good feeling, the more detail, the more texture, the more detail that you can get, the more it fleshes out. So again, just keep finding something that works for you. If you can remember a time that you were very happy, or if you can think of someone or something. It could be a dog or a squirrel or a mountain range or a beautiful beach. Just put yourself there and let your body be filled with that good feeling. And notice wherever it is in your body you feel it. Like if you feel it in the front of your forehead, in your heart, in the bottom of your feet, in your groin, in your belly, any place you feel it in your body, take some time to acknowledge that and explore it. And when I say explore it, I just mean like, what does that good feeling actually feel like? There's a warmth, there's an openness, an expandedness. It's nice. I just woke up from a nap. It's like a 20-minute nap, but I have that sensation of relaxation in my body right now, so I'm like I'm drunk or something. And along with that, you know, when I just talked about noticing the feeling of relaxation in my body, notice if you can keep touching back into this sensation of feeling good and feeling it in various parts of your body. Notice if there's other feelings in your body that soften and relax and warm up and release into this good feeling. So starting with yourself, right now, we're just in ourselves, we're with this feeling. I want you to try a few phrases of kindness. And by phrases of kindness, they can be anything. They can be like, I want you to be happy. Hi, Dominic, I love you. I want you to be happy. You can use your own name. May you feel safe. You have nothing to fear and nothing to doubt. You have everything you need. May you feel free. Really, wherever your imagination goes, every once in a while, give yourself a phrase of permission and freedom. Kindness. And again, just notice what that feels like. If any of these phrases change the texture of the feeling in your body. And again, this can be very subtle, just like the warmth or the relaxation. If there's any heaviness in your head or tension in your back, just notice if it softens it a little. And if you feel a sensation of brightness, radiant warmth, just kind of nuzzle into that, get close to it, and just give it as much attention as it likes so it can grow. And again, you can do this while you're doing something else. A friend is baking a cake, right? So he can be like stirring the batter and being like, wow, the smell pleases me. Or looking at this texture pleases me, and feeling what that sensation of joy, perhaps connecting with, I'm making this cake for someone I love and they're going to enjoy it, even if it's myself. Making this cake for someone I love and they're going to enjoy it, and just connect with that feeling. We're going to try a couple of the classical phrases, which may or may not be meaningful to you. So if they're not, let them go. And if they are, just see what they feel like. Say, may my heart be free of hatred and ill will. May my heart be free of hatred and ill will towards myself or anyone or anything. And you can just imagine what your life would be like if you had no hatred, no anger, no ill will towards anyone. If you've ever found yourself saying, I wish that guy were dead, or that person's such an asshole, just be like, what if I never had those feelings? I love this imagination that you're already a natural state of just happiness and health, but these kind of feelings get in the way. So just say that a few times. May I be free of hatred and ill will. May I be free of anger. If you can get a visceral sense of what your chest feels like, you know, your rib cage, your heart, your lungs. Give yourself a few deep breaths and just allow it to expand, like feel it get bigger and expand. And then when you let the air out, just let it relax and fall and release and just be relaxed. And this is easier for me if I have my eyes closed, but you can imagine that your heart or your chest can just get really big, like much bigger than your body. You maybe just fill up the whole room or stretch out into outer space. Free from the limitations of separation. That's in a simple way. If you, hi Benjamin. I'm very well, I'm practicing feeling good. If you imagine that on one level, your heart can connect to all other beings that have an open heart. And of course, we've all heard words like listen to your heart and have an open heart and open your heart. So just imagine that if your heart were open, and you could connect to all other beings with open hearts, anything that would keep you from connecting to somebody, any reasons why you wouldn't be open to feeling someone else's open heart, any reason why you wouldn't feel happy and grateful and kind towards someone, we'll just label that hate. So if you're angry at them for any reason, and so you can be like, just, try using that definition. Anything that keeps me separate, that keeps me thinking that I don't want to be a part of that person, I want to remain separate from that person, we'll call that hate. It just makes it simple. And we're just going to say, may my heart be free of hatred. And you can do some visualization if this works for you. You can say, may my heart be free of hatred. And again, imagine your heart expanding and just enveloping everything around you. So if you're in an apartment, you can imagine like it taking in the plants. If you have any pets, you can imagine it taking in the plants. And this doesn't have to be, you can picture whatever you want to picture it. It can just be like this wave of energy, like a radiant sun or a magnetic field, sound, listening, just opening. May I be free of separation. May my heart be open and free. And when you're practicing this, again, you can just notice whatever you notice in your body. So for me, like I was just feeling this very nice, expansive feeling in my heart, and then I noticed some tension in my shoulders and neck. And as soon as I noticed it, because of my training, I was like, oh, I don't need to hold on to that tension. So just remind yourself that whenever you notice tension, be it in your butt or your back or your feet or your neck, you can just say, oh, I don't need to hold on to that tension. I can let that go. And just, even if it's just a millimeter, see if you can feel your shoulders drop. See if you can feel your face relax. And much like how I teach yoga, I like alternating between completely relaxing and releasing into this posture. We're doing an emotional posture right now. This is emotional yoga. And then striving a little bit. So again, if you're imagining that the posture we're attempting here is complete open happiness, kindness, and love, relax and try to let everything soften and just release any kind of withholding, release any kind of separation. And when you find yourself in a very relaxed, kind of peaceful, and for me, it was just getting kind of, like I was almost sleepy, right? Which is good. Then turn it up a little bit by smiling. Notice you can be like smiling. And you may have heard that even just putting a little smile on your face actually releases brain chemicals that are associated with happiness. So if you use that chemical stimulus with the physical effort, the physical will shape, and then echo it again with a happiness in your heart, Just put a little smile on your face, feel the brain respond, feel the heart respond, and be like, oh right, I can feel happiness and love. So it's kind of relaxing into receive love. Let's try another phrase. So let's imagine there's a whole bunch of people in the world practicing this, because this is actually something that a lot of people in the world do in India and China and all over the Western world now as well. So right now there's other people doing this besides us. And you can just imagine that you can feel their goodwill. Right now you can say, may all beings be free of hatred. May all beings be happy and free and safe. And you say them whichever way you want, and just feel that for a minute. May all beings be happy and free and safe. May all beings be free of hatred. May all beings be open to love. And again, as much as you feel any boundary to yourself, just let it open into the universe. So again, it's a little easier with your eyes closed, because you can feel, at least for me, I can feel the shape of what I think of as myself, my body. And the more I relax, the more I can kind of just let it dissolve into the air. And with my eyes closed, it's really easy for me to just imagine that that can just reach out into New York, or Massachusetts, or Connecticut, California. And making this slightly different, again, think of people you know who love you, and think of other people that you don't know who are practicing this right now. And say to yourself, may I be open to receive the love in the universe. May I be open to receive kindness and goodwill. Just as you were just thinking, may all people be happy, may all people be free, may all people be at peace. Receive those good wishes from other beings, other people. See if you can feel it coming at you and just nourishing you and allowing you to relax. Kind of similar to that. You're welcome, Dominic. Kind of similar to that. Maybe you hear people in the background. There's people hanging out naked on the beach down below chatting. There's surfers right now in the sea. Somewhere in the world, there's someone eating a really delicious pie. Somewhere in the world, there are lovers holding hands on a park bench or in their apartment. Many places in the world right now, there are people happy and just experiencing some of the simple joys of life. So whichever example of that comes into your mind, just open your heart to it. Somebody curled up with a good cup of tea and a book they love. Somebody listening to a piece of music they love. Somebody playing a piece of music they love. Imagine that happiness. And be happy with them. If you like to, because I'm here right now, you can imagine feeling my happiness at being able to share this happiness with you. My happiness at being in this beautiful place and being able to share it with you. just see if you can feel that quiet, simple happiness. If all hearts are open and you're able to connect with all open hearts, and there's nothing keeping you separate, all the happiness is available to you. And you can choose to just tune into it, again, like old radio days. The happiness channel. Somebody's finishing an embroidery project. Somebody just finished a puzzle. Somebody's watching a sunset somewhere and it gives them a lot of pleasure. Somebody's baking a cake for someone they love. It makes them feel good. With this wonderful, resourceful, love you too, Chuck, thank you. With this wonderful, resourceful, just like simple, peaceful happiness feeling, take a moment and honor the suffering that you've been experiencing. And you don't have to be afraid of it right now. You can just kind of look at yourself, imagine you're like feeling your face, or look at your face and be like, I'm sorry you have to go through this right now. I love you. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of us, all of us have had moments in recent times where we've been spiraling into anxiety and fear. And that's real suffering, even though what we're afraid of isn't really happening. It could, but that anxiety is a real suffering. And it's really nice if we can honor that in ourselves and be like, I'm really sorry. And try to keep your heart open. Be like, I'm really sorry that you're having to go through this right now. The freedoms that you expect to have, believe you had, that you don't have right now. I'm sorry that that's caused you suffering. The future that you thought you had that you don't think you have right now, and you can't imagine life without it. I'm sorry that that's causing you so much pain and suffering. This is what they call compassion, the idea of opening your heart to suffering and staying present with it and just saying, I care. There's no way you can fix it. It's not about fixing it. It's just about honoring it and saying, I love you, and being with it. And notice what that feels like in your body. Again, for me, it's a different type of warmth. There's like an edge of the feeling of the fear and the sadness, and the warmth is kind of in the center of it, kind of pushing it out. Not getting rid of it, but it's almost like the fear and the anxiety is like on the ends of it. The outer layer, whatever it could feel like for you. And again, not to take on more than you can take, because you can always just return to connecting to ideas of people you know who are happy doing something, or ideas of something that just makes you happy, like the seaside or someone you love smiling at you. But you can also think of the other people in the world, all of the other people in the world with all of their confusion and fear and anxiety and worry. And you don't have to detail all of it. You know it's there. So you can just, again, like open your heart and just say to the spirit of all the people of the world, I'm sorry that you're having to live through this, and I'm sorry that you have these thoughts and feelings and fears. I hope you can be at peace. I love you and I want you to be well. Again, try with those phrases and see what that feels like. Again, there can be, for me, there's a lot of the sensation of Again, my heart, I feel it in my ribs. I kind of feel the organ, and then I feel a warm layer of energy outside of my body that I connect with as my heart energy. And when I imagine outside of me, again, this can be 5 feet away from me or 1,000 miles away from me, other people who have worries and fears. Like right now, a specific person comes to mind who told me about a bunch of his fears and anxieties a couple days ago. I just want to continue to open my heart towards that and just say, I love you and I want you to be well. I wish you were free of suffering, but I care about you and I care about your suffering within this. And it doesn't matter if you're somebody who has beliefs about yourself, but I don't care about those people, fuck them. It doesn't matter if you believe that you're that kind of person or that you have, right now you can just practice not being that person. You can practice being a person who does care, who really wants to connect with the suffering that everyone's having. You're suffering, everyone else is suffering. And you want to connect and care. You're like, I love you. Maybe smile a little bit back into the happiness sphere, smile a little bit back into the kindness sphere. Again, connect with this idea of other beings who care about you, who love you, and feel supported by them. Anyone you've ever known in your life who cares that when you've been suffering, see if you can kind of relax, like laying your back against their chest and their arms around you. And just know that they care about you. They're not offering to fix anything, they just love you. Then there's another area of the heart that's interesting to explore. Again, it's kind of a healing, healthy, safe place for the heart to be. Take some nice deep breaths and sigh and relax. Where we think of all of the things in the world that we have no control over. And whatever age we are, we've gone through a whole bunch of life with a whole bunch of things that we have no control over. We didn't really choose these languages for the most part. Most of us didn't. Most of us, we didn't consciously ever get to choose our skin color or our hair color. Some of us did. There's a whole bunch of things we didn't get to choose. The way the governments work and the way the world's working right now. Regardless of all of our good intentions, there's a whole bunch of things we can't do anything about. And there's a way you can be in your heart where you're just like, that's not my jurisdiction. If you can think of someone you know and love, again, that's kind of an easy thing to connect with. And you can think of choices they make that make them unhappy, because almost everybody does have habits that just make them unhappy. And you love them anyway, and it's not your job. Even if you have told them many times they should stop doing what they're doing, you can't. It's not your job, and you love them anyway. So see if you can connect into your heart with that kind of like open-handed, just being like, it's okay, I love you anyway. And it's not an apathy, it's not an indifference, it's not a like disconnection. It's staying connected, but you're not attached. You're not trying to control anything. You're not trying to fix anything. And you can still keep your heart open and have it be at peace is kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for this kind of clarity and relaxation and open-heartedness that when it touches things that you know you can't do anything about, you just practice being at peace with it. So you're like sitting there in your chair, you can like feel your heart just kind of be open and peaceful. And maybe it goes outside. Maybe there's restrictions outside. And there's nothing you can do about that. This is just the world we're living in right now. These are the languages and cultures that we find ourselves in, some of which we agree to and some of which we don't. And it's okay. We have survived. We will continue to survive. So just feel into that. Again, a little smile helps this. And do also keep noticing if you feel tension form in your face, your jaw, your back, along your spine. Every once in a while, just check in with yourself and give it some kindness and be like, I love you. I want you to be at peace. I want you to be happy. You can relax. It's okay. You're okay. You're safe. Maybe you could think of, again, things you know of that have nothing to do with your life. Meaning like your actual day-to-day existence, but still irk you. I'm not going to give examples because you never know when you can trigger someone. Just anything that comes to mind, things that you're like, that doesn't actually concern my life, but it bothers me, it upsets me, blah, blah, blah. And just see if you can open your heart towards that. Again, you can give it a conceptual image, you can give it a location, and just like let your sense of self expand out. And just see if you can soften the heart and be like, this that's happening, it's not perfect, it's not good, I don't like it, but it's okay. My heart doesn't need to be disturbed by it. So we're playing with that right now. See if you can. Don't touch anything that's too disturbing, because that obviously you lose your footing. Just touch things that are kind of disturbing and then move away from them if they bother you. But you're just practicing, I don't need to be disturbed by this. There's nothing I can do about it. It's out of my jurisdiction. And the benefit about this practice is if you can keep your heart open, even in the face of things you don't like, things you can't change, then you remain free. Because it is paramount that you are free and clear for you to be able to make good decisions, for you to be able to make good decisions for yourself and for anybody else who can. If you want to be of service, if you want to be happy, if you want to help people, you can do it much better from a place of not being disturbed, not being angry, not being hateful, not being controlling. So again, it's a type of freedom. And let's turn back towards pleasure now. So if you had something that really worked for you at the beginning, you can connect back to that same thing. But we can just start over again from where we are right now. Just be like, what is it in the world that makes me happy? And if you see like ice cream in a pretty glass and a nice long spoon, if you see an orchestra, if you see a forest and a mountain range, whatever it is that makes you happy, like when you ask yourself that question, just look at it. Just spend time being with it. And notice what it does to your heart and your mind. Just notice how you feel. What makes me happy? And there's a dog. Some cute dog face. What makes me happy? And there's a pretty bird. But the feeling can be yours independent of that thing. So what we're playing with here is not necessarily about refining how to trigger happiness, but understanding what happiness feels like, so it's accessible to us unconditionally at any time. Happiness, kindness, the different feelings of happiness and kindness, the different feelings of compassion, of staying present with things that are not pleasant, staying present with things that are not pleasant, but with love and kindness, and to a certain degree even happiness. And then also understanding that freedom of the heart of not needing to be disturbed by things we can't do anything about, which most of the world we can't do anything about. And most of us, regardless of what age we are, have learned how to be at peace with a whole bunch of things that we don't like. And yet there are always other things that we don't like that drive us crazy. So it's just nice to know what that feeling is like. I mean, if you can think of something really easy that you gave up being worried and distraught about years ago, and you just kind of like sit looking at it and being like, I see a bunch of some cactuses right there, and I'm like, we can appreciate cactuses without going over and hugging them. And when you can understand that quietness of heart that's still present, you know, it's not turned off and turned away, then you can apply it to other moments, whenever you remember. So again, just go back to the felt sense of your heart, your chest, your ribs. Smile into it gently, and let the warmth move through your body. Maybe you can feel yourself connect with me and anyone else watching this video and anyone else doing this practice anywhere in the world right now. Which, if it makes you feel better, there's definitely thousands of people doing this practice at every moment. And again, let your heart open into the goodness of people, into the goodness of the world, into the goodness of the universe. Whatever that means to you. Let yourself receive it. And just really notice what it makes your body feel like. Continually allow yourself to relax. Relax into the chair, relax into the couch, relax into the bed, relax into the floor. And open to the goodness of life. Feel that openness and spaciousness. Guys, how you doing? May you remember these simple practices at many moments throughout the day. Spending a minute with a peaceful, happy, connected heart, consciously and willfully, is really nice practice, nice play, to allow you to have the skill to access it in moments when you need it. It's just really nice to know that it's an option. I'm going to get up for a few minutes and let you look at this view without me here, because it's pretty. And if you guys have any questions or comments, or just want to say anything to me, you can type it and I'll look at it in a minute when I come back. Ricardo, have you ever heard the version of that from the smell of the grease paint, the roar of the crowd. It's on Spotify, probably Apple Music, definitely YouTube. It's the original recording of it from a musical. Nina's version is amazing. His is a different story. Check it out. I can pull up a link and send it to you if you like. Oh. Wow, is that recorded? Is that online? It'd be interesting to hear the. It would be interesting to hear the arrangement. Well, it's been very nice to share this evening with you. I'm very glad. I had a pretty peaceful day. And like I said, I took a nap right before doing this. About 6 o'clock. I was just like, I'm gonna lay down and just relax for a minute in my hammock. Everything seems really beautiful right now. The color of the water is really gorgeous. And it's nice, you know, again, like I said at the beginning of this talk, there were a bunch of people down in the cove below here that were just hanging out and talking. Thank you, Clara, I love you. Nice to see you here. And every evening there's a bunch of local boys, Mexican boys, who play soccer on the beach. And it's just really nice to see them enjoying that. And it's not something that I do. I am a strangely antisocial person. So it's nice to be up on a spot where I can look down at people and be like, oh, they're enjoying themselves. That's nice. Yeah. So, Michael Lindsay, when you feel the happiness feeling, it's really nice if you can just spend a lot of time with that. It's a really worthwhile exercise to just spend like an hour or 5, just seeing if you can keep that feeling moving in the body, and sharing it with whomever it is you think of. And in a situation like that, you know, it can be a little tricky because like the dog's not with you, he's with an ex. So there's a whole bunch of opportunities for sadness around there. So to be able to, like, with surgical precision or the eyes of a chemist, be able to separate out the happiness from the unpleasantness and just really bask in it, generate it, cultivate it. And understanding that that feeling is a choice you can choose anytime is a wonderful freedom. It's not actually dependent on your dog actually being with you. Yeah. I've only recently started doing that in my life, and it's amazing how effective it is. And I know people told me that when I was younger and I thought they were stupid, but it's amazing how effective it is, and just like how you can just choose. It makes the whole day much nicer to live through. All right. Anything else you guys want to see? Want me to walk you around and show you something? Hi, Joe. I do love big dogs, yeah. Big dogs. Yeah. Yeah. Again, Ricardo, I kind of think of the whole world as being on meditation retreat. Or some people like to say, you're grounded, go sit in your room and think about what you did. But that gives it a kind of negative stance, But thinking about what you did is nice. Thinking about what you're doing. And then putting nice choices into play. Hi, Keith. Having this opportunity for us all to not be busy all the time. Yeah. Keith, I'm in Mexico. I'm in a small town on the Pacific coast in the southern point of Mexico. I was visiting here. I came here in mid-February. I arrived down in Mexico in late January and touristed around for a little while. And then I came to this town. I thought I would just relax here for a month, because it's always nice to relax somewhere in the winter and not run around if you're traveling like me. Sunset's getting slightly later here, yeah, but also the daylight savings moved it an hour later. Because I'm closer to the equator, it doesn't really get, the day length doesn't dramatically alter as much as it does the further north you get. Anyway, I ended up in this little beach town when the lockdown thing started, so I thought I'll just stay here. I don't have a fixed abode right now. I don't have a place I'm paying rent, so there was nowhere I really had to go. I did have a lot of other travel plans this year, but I canceled all of them and just decided to stay here. And I bought a ticket a couple days ago to come back to America at the end of next month, so I may do that if that is what allows to happen. A lot of people get their tickets canceled all the time, so we'll see. Well, Joseph, a lot of that's a whole complicated other talk, but a lot of busyness that people are in is because they can't just appreciate the goodness of what is right now. I mean, obviously there's stuff that you have to get done. You have to wash your clothes every once in a while and do the dishes and keep the lights on, as it were. But a lot of people lose value of watching the sunset or listening to the waves or staring at the sky and watching the clouds. They lose those values, or they stop valuing that because they value instead getting a promotion or having people think they're awesome, or getting a new car, 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 or whatever it is that they need a new of. That becomes what they value most, and then they lose the appreciation of the simple free goodness that is always available. I like how you just blipped out and then it's like, hey, you're watching. Oh, I wonder if it just disconnected. It's like telling me you're all watching again. Hi guys, it's nice to see you again. I have a water bottle filled with coconut. I cut up raw ginger and turmeric and put it in my water bottle with this mature coconut and jamaica. Looks like watermelon, kind of, like a watermelon rind. Jamaica is hibiscus flower tea that I also put some lime in. Puts lime and ginger and turmeric and hibiscus flowers and mature coconut. And it's been soaking in it all day, and I like how it's given it this like yellowy red color. It's a delicious drink. There you go. The white coconut goodness. I have nothing else to say. I guess I don't need to. I was mentioning earlier today that this morning's sunrise was astounding. But I could tell right away I wanted to make a time lapse out of it because the cloud patterns were amazing. I've been making a lot of time lapses of sunrises for the last few years, so it was just like, this is golden, I gotta do this. And I had been wanting to try the wide angle lens on the iPhone to do a time lapse. I don't think I had done one yet, or I may have done one when I first arrived, but it worked out really well. So I made it in 2 segments. I want to splice them together and put some sounds underneath it. I'll just put these sounds underneath it. My room is right up there. I don't know, maybe 30 feet away from me. I can't really see this from my room, but I can certainly hear it. But Dominic, I don't know, have you seen any of my sunrise videos? Because those are usually just the view from my room. I mean, from right outside my room. Keith? No, not really. No. I mean, there are a few people who are. And theoretically, we're supposed to be. But there are, like I said, there's lots of people playing football or soccer out on the beach right now. When I do go into town, there's usually people hanging out in the sidewalks, like sitting and talking. They're all really close to each other. The beach tonight has tons of people on it. I mean, not like full tourist season tons of people, but there's lots of people on the beach tonight when I look down. There are beach police that have been kicking people off the beach all month. Dominic, you think the video is flipped now or in the morning? This is a different view. But if you've seen my sunrise videos, this rock right here is that spire that's usually in the middle of the video. It's yeah. Yes, but it is flipped. Am I upside down? Is that what you're saying? So this is my room right there. That's my room. That's the hurricane house up there. That's the moon. Hi, moon. So yeah, the land is on the left like this over here. So this is the view from the morning, except it's up another 10 feet, right? This is the palm tree you always see. The little house on a cliff, I guess, is behind there. And that's the spire. I'm just down below because I thought I would give a different view today. A different view. With my little tripod clinging to this thing. This is normal. Look at that. Craziness. I climbed up here once, up here, all the way to there. I got scratched up a lot by those trees, so I'm probably not going to do that again. But I also one day climbed around from the other side. I climbed around here into this beach, and then all the way around there and around that point. I haven't done that again. And this thing is this big, beautiful sea arch tunnel where the waves crash through there. So gorgeous. Yeah, it's perfect, except there's a lot of rocks in there that can smash you. But it looks really gorgeous right now. The color is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's like that perfect blue. It's very nice. All right, kids. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Pretty rock. Pretty cove. Oh. Cliff. Yeah, look at this. I'm like always, there are always cliffs here. You know, my feet are just... Whoop. Don't want to drop my phone down into the cove. All right. Hi. So, I love you guys. Anybody who's still watching, who still has an income and wants to send me some money, you're welcome to. I put a donation link in my posts, and I appreciate all the people who donate. Thank you so much. Regardless of donation or not donation, you can always make suggestions about what you'd like me to do. Tonight's talk was kind of a suggestion from having a conversation with someone. But a lot of people have been making suggestions lately, and I think that's fun. Let me know what you want to hear me talk about or do. And I'll be happy to try it. I'm happy to share this time with people who appreciate it. This is an option of the world we can live in. Look at that craziness. All the people out on the beach tonight. All right. I'm gonna go brush my teeth and practice Spanish and go to sleep. Because it'll be dark in probably a half hour. Good night. Thank you, thank you.